Hi, I'm Vaughn Bucher, President of the Lewisville Noon Rotary Club, and welcome to the Rotary Roundup for August 2013. Hello everyone. The first thing I want to do is welcome our two newest Rotarians, Tom Sabula and Ray Hernandez, who's the president of the Lewisville Area Chamber of Commerce. With me today, I have two longtime Rotarians, very long-time Rotarians in the case of Mr. Crawford, R.L. Crawford and Steve Griffin. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I know you've been members for how long, Steve? You told me since
48.
48 years?
48 years.
48 years. R.L.?
1972, that would be 41 years.
41 years. Excellent. Do you have any special experiences that you'd like to share with us and memories?
Well, it's been wonderful to see the club grow. When I first joined in 1971, I was a member of a club over in East Texas for 6 years and joined in 71. There was about 21 members here. And we grew and we grew, and through the years, this club helped start the Flower Mound Club,
Right.
helped start the Colony Club, helped start other clubs here in Lewisville and Highland Village, and it's been amazing to see. At one time we had 110 members, and now we're in the mid-60s, and we've been at that level for many years. But I guess one of the singular most important things is to see what Rotary International stands for and does around the world, as well as the friendships that we've made here in Lewisville, in this area. It's kind of like a family environment in our club now.
Indeed. R.L., you had an idea of having a Rotary historian for our club and somehow capturing the history of our Lewisville Noon Rotary Club. You have any thoughts on what we can be looking for and anything in particular that you'd like to see if we can get some of the members and past members to help us find?
Well, Vaughn, a couple of weeks ago, I approached Keith and said, Keith, you know, the club has been in existence here for many, many years, and as far as I know, we don't have any active historian or any history of the club, and it might be important going forward that we start to think about a historian and recording some history of the club. Steve just mentioned Rotary International, and when I joined Rotary 41 years ago, really I didn't know a lot about Rotary, especially the fact that Rotary was started over 100 years ago in Chicago by a group of 4 businessmen who came together in separate but very important professional skills to share their skills with each other. And this has been true with the Lewisville Rotary Group going back over the years, in that the leadership that Rotary has provided in business, a mentoring type of relationship for all of us Rotarians, has been to share these professional skills and teach these groups going forward valuable business lessons. And to me, that's one of the most important characteristics of what we do at Rotary, is sharing ideas and sharing topics with each other. And I would like to record some of this leadership from the past and some of this mentoring, if you will, that we've had when I first joined the club.
Very good. What types of artifacts or newspaper clippings or pictures or books, or what type of history can we try to get the members to help us retrieve?
Well, I would encourage the current members to perhaps look in their archives, for those that go back a number of years, for events, names. I would like to even try to restore a membership list going back to the beginning as to some of the business leaders that we actually learned from, who may have gone on in their profession to another city or moved out, or perhaps we've lost those members. And we really need to preserve that type of leadership and pass it on to the next generation. Is that your thinking, Steve?
I think that's good, and you know, it's just amazing to see as you look around our club on the various businesses that are represented and the different organizations that our Rotary members are active in politics, and it's just amazing that all that's in one room when we have a meeting, and yet
Amen.
we come together as friends, and we have a common purposes that's set aside by Rotary. That's very important.
Excellent. Very good. Well, we're going to take a quick break for some announcements, and when we come back, RL and Steve will share a couple of stories about their own experience with the Rotary Club over the years. But first, here's Keith Bradley.
Hi, I'm Keith Bradley, your program chair, and we're really excited about the programs that are lined up for Lewisville Noon Rotary meetings in August. First up, Gary Lewis is going to give us a virtual tour of his mission trip to Romania on August 7th. He's got some great photos from the trip and stories about the work that the volunteers did there. And then on August 14th, John Jennings will bring us Crossing Guard Entertainment. Now, he did something similar last year, and I promise you it's going to be a fun meeting. Don't forget, also, there's going to be a board meeting after the regular meeting on the 14th. Then on August 21st, we'll be joined by Sam Bacon from Encana Oil and Gas. Sam's going to be sharing some insights on what goes on behind the scenes in the oil and gas production industry. Owen Lyon is sponsoring the program that day. And finally, on August 28th, Bill Lawrence has arranged for Ashley McClellan. She's the CEO of the Medical Center of Lewisville to give the presentation to the club. It's a full slate this month, and we look forward to seeing everyone at the next Lewisville Noon Rotary meeting. Thanks.
Welcome back to this month's Roundup, and during the break we were just visiting about some of the different places that our club has met for lunch. Steve, you were talking about the two-pump gas station in the back room of the station up there at Mill and what's now Lake Park Road. That was before my time, but you said you had about 20 members and you met in the back room there?
That's right, and you know, a lot of the guys were quite a bit older than I was at the time, and the second year I was in this club, they voted me president, and so I went to the district meeting and I got all the ideas and from other clubs and ideas that were laid out at national, and I was really ready to go. And the day they installed me, I said, okay, boy, I've got a lot of ideas I'd like to pass out. First, I'd like to ask how many in our group would like to work this year and really do some things. If you would, please raise your hand. There wasn't a hand that went up. So that kind of, and there were guys that would do something, but they didn't want to do somebody else's plan. But if there was something for the local people, as you've seen the club through the years do, the attitude has really been superb on people. I can help do that.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, when you reminisce in the past about it, when we were active in doing the flag program, and you know, you go over to the high school to do the special night out and work together, and you know, you look at all the different organizations around town that we were talking the other day about the Lewisville Education Foundation, you know, it's been around for a long, long time. Well, 2/3 of the first board were Rotarians. And you know, all of that, you know, has a common thread of serving one another.
You bet. You bet. Very good. Well, I remember one of the first times I met you and worked with you was on a flag program.
Yep.
I got one of my survey crew trucks and we emptied out all the equipment and loaded up the flags at the back and away we went.
Good fun and fellowship.
Yep. RL, you have any special memories or fond memories or any special occasions that you recall in your past Rotary history?
Well, I talked earlier about the business leadership and the mentoring that takes place at Rotary. And I was just thinking, not only do we have the mentoring and the leadership passed on from members, but we also have at Rotary a very unique thing that I've enjoyed immensely over the years, and that's the noon program. And as you know, I think Keith now is involved in putting our programs on. And when I first joined Rotary, I didn't realize that I was going to have the opportunity to meet business leaders, but I didn't know, as Steve just talked about the Lewisville Foundation, Lewisville
Education
Foundation, I didn't realize that we'd have programs and reports on community activities. We've had numerous programs from the athletic department of Lewisville High School, as Steve mentioned, the Lewisville Education Foundation. We've had political updates from various politicians, and from time to time we have a fun program. And one of the fondest memories I've ever had of a Rotary program took place at, of all names, a place we met for a number of years called the OK Corral. And the OK Corral was a restaurant in Lewisville owned by Hayes Crum, who I think was a Rotarian.
Yeah, he was.
And that's some history in itself. But at the OK Corral, one day a program was given by a Texas Ranger, a past Texas Ranger, who was giving a shooting demonstration of his shooting skill. So he placed at the back of a room one of these boxes that would absorb bullets, and then he placed in the middle of this box a hatchet, and then he placed on the side of both hatchets 2 balloons, which were at least 6 inches from the hatchet themselves on each side of the hatchet. And then the ranger, from across the room with his 6-shooter, took aim at the hatchet, shot into the bullet box, a shot that split the bullet in half and popped both balloons.
Oh, man.
There was not a word said for about 30 seconds. Everyone was stunned that someone could have the skill of splitting a bullet from across a room to break 2 balloons. That's just a typical Rotary program. That's the fun side of what we do.
I wonder what Russ would say about that today.
Have no idea. But it's things like that, Vaughn and Steve, that we've all enjoyed over the years, not only the educational side of Rotary, but the fun side of Rotary. So that's one of the fondest memories at the OK Corral.
Yeah.
I had a real good memory of the OK Corral. Talking about it, it brings back the days when Charlie Koo was president of the club, and Charlie would start the meeting off with a joke, and I think his wife had given him a joke book. And anyway, Charles got some of them kind of confused, but he was very, very funny in telling. And I've wanted for years for Charlie to come back for a joke of the week. So maybe you can do that, Vaughn.
I'll see if I can talk to him and get him to come up and give us a joke of the week. I could just imagine some of his jokes and his non-mastery of the English language. That would really make it kind of funny.
Well, Vaughn, this story that I've told and that Steve is telling about Charlie Koo, this is just one of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories that are out there that someone knows that we need to share, with the history of Rotary, because we just don't want to lose some of the valuable moments going back over a 40-year span, which will be lost in the next 10 or 15 years, as I told Keith, if we don't start to record all of our members' thoughts and all of our members' memories. And I'm hoping that this will prompt people to start thinking about some of the fun times they've had with Rotary.
Well, I love the idea of documenting some of the history of our Rotary Club and some of the events and the changes that have evolved and the different places that we've had our meetings and some of the different memberships. So if somebody wanted to share some of that with you, how would they get in contact with you? By your phone or your email, or just talk to you at the club? Or how would you like them to share some of that back with you?
Well, Steve and I have talked about that, and I don't think we want to chair that committee. But I think we do need a club historian, and I think the historian could form a committee that could then be communicated via email to all our members, either through you or Russ or the process we use to start gathering this information, so the historian actually, as an officer of the club, that's up to you, Vaughn.
I think it's a good idea. We'll bring it to the board.
I'm just an Indian here, and I'm talking to the chief, so if the chief wants to have a historian, I think we can develop that, and I don't even know if Rotary International has a office position of historian, but this may be something that we at our Lewisville Noon Rotary could prompt Rotary International to also consider in their bylaws. And this could generate a lot of interest locally, internationally.
I'm sure we'll get somebody that would step up and help you chair that committee, and I don't know if we make it an official board position on the as a historian, but perhaps it could be. And certainly we've got other committee chairs that aren't actually on the board, but I like the idea, and so if somebody has some ideas, they can just bring them to you and whoever the person is that we can get to step up and be our local historian. So that's it for this month's show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Vaughn Bucher, and we'll see you in September for the next episode of Rotary Roundup.